Good, my people. Flash Speaks back for another video. Okay, a little bit of NBA news here. FS1, the conservative wing of sports media, host Colin Cowherd takes to the microphone last week talking about the U.S. Olympic team. And for some strange reason, the focus is on Joel Embiid. Out of nowhere, out of all of the players that are on the team, out of the 12 or 15 players, the focus for some reason here is on Joel Embiid. For whatever reason, which we'll get into for a second here. So Joel Embiid had a bad performance. I mean, he had only 11 minutes and ended up with 4 points and so on. Joel Embiid, before we get into it, of course, the star center for the Philadelphia 76ers, arguably the best center in the NBA. Between him and Jokic, there's a difference of opinion. For me, both guys are equally great at what they do because they play both sides of the ball. As a Sixers fan, I have a bit of a bias. However, if someone tries to argue with me that Jokic is the better center, I don't put up much of an argument right now because Jokic did fulfill the ultimate goal, which was to go win a title with his team. I think you can go a little bit deeper with the issue with that, but I accept Jokic as a valid opinion of being the best center. And for me, that should fuel Joel Embiid to go out and try to prove that he is actually the better player. Anyway, Colin Cowherd goes and speaks on it, and it's obviously he's been put up to it because I think the precursor to this, which should be known, is that Joel Embiid has been in the news for criticizing LeBron James, the legacy pick for this year's Olympics. You know, the guy who still wants to be considered the best player in the league, and I think what he's trying to do is use this opportunity to try to make that case. I think LeBron now, throughout his career, there was this obsession with trying to be seen as better than Michael Jordan. You know, we can go back to the beginning. I remember when LeBron first came out, he was on the cover of, magazines, touted as the king, touted as, the next one, and all of these different things. There's been always a push media-wise and league-wise to try to make the case that, he's the next great one that's at least in the argument for the greatest of all time. And I think what LeBron, because he was unable to produce a career that was more productive than Michael Jordan's, more productive, and I don't mean for him personally, but in a 5-on-5 sport, more productive, which means more championships, because the sport is 5-on-5, it's not 1-on-1. That's number one. And in an attempt to make the argument, LeBron James is now, I think, trying to put forth the case that he is still the best player in the NBA at the age of 39, going on 40 years old. And I think he wants it to be seen in the record books that he was on the Olympic team with the best of the best, quote unquote, and was the best player on the team. I think this is the play now. But we're going to listen to Colin Cowherd, and I'm going to chime in.
So 2 years ago, the NBA media voted Joel Embiid over a Jokic as MVP. It was really an anti-Jokic vote because Jokic is a more valuable player. He's a better player, and it's not particularly close if you watch yesterday. But
all right, so basically he's saying it's not close between Jokic and Embiid based on yesterday. Well, the first question would be, why would yesterday be the determiner between who's better between Jokic and Embiid? You're talking about an Olympic game that's not in the National Basketball Association. And you're using that to determine that Embiid was an invalid pick 2 years ago. Does that make sense to any of you listening? If so, please speak in the comment section. The yesterday he's referring to was a game in which Joel Embiid played 11 minutes in international play. And Joel Embiid, this is his first time ever playing in the Olympics, and it's his first time ever playing with any of those players on the team. Whereas Jokic is a seasoned international basketball player, seasoned in playing international play. I think it would be more appropriate to judge them in the NBA context. Now, in the NBA, we know that both players are very comparable, and actually over the last 4 to 5 seasons, both were always in the running for MVP, whether Joel Embiid is first or Jokic is second. They have always been comparable. Last season, prior to Joel Embiid getting injured, he was leading the league in scoring with over 33 points a game and a ridiculous plus minus, which was over everyone, because it is known that when Joel Embiid is on the floor for his team, for the Philadelphia 76ers, the team is on the plus side category. When Joel Embiid is off the floor, the team is almost always in the minus. I wish I had the numbers right in front of me, but I've overlooked this, and this stuff is readily available on any website that deals with the statistics. All right, so this is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make the case that Joel Embiid is better than Jokic today. That is not the purpose of my video. The video I'm trying to make is that it's ridiculous to act as if Jokic is in some other stratosphere from Joel Embiid.
The league's stewards, the media, did not want Jokic to win a third straight MVP, even though he's hands down the most valuable player, and you saw it yesterday. It's why the NBA media regularly kind of chooses cool stories over the truth. And I think increasingly people want the truth from their media. But I think it's official, watching Embiid yesterday, where Steve Kerr pulled him off the floor 2.5 minutes into the game against Serbia. He is the most overhyped, coddled, and over-discussed, my bad, player in the NBA. I mean,
All right, so Embiid is overhyped. Where I'm just curious if anyone can help me here. When is Joel Embiid overhyped? Joel Embiid was, over the last 3-4 years, averaging over 30 points a game, averaging over 10 rebounds a game. He always has one of the best plus minuses in the league, and is always on the top end when it comes to defensive players in terms of defensive rating. How is that overhyped? And the Philadelphia 76ers are always having a winning record with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid there's never been a season where Joel Embiid played a significant number of games where the Philadelphia 76ers did not at least make the playoffs. How is Joel Embiid overhyped? He's widely recognized as one of the top 5 to 10 players in the NBA. I think this is kind of like anyone, the most ardent Joel Embiid hater, who might, argue that he's soft and all of these types of things that I don't agree with, would tell you he's still a top 10 player in the NBA. So where is he overhyped? Coddled. Where's Joel Embiid coddled? Who coddles Joel Embiid? He's definitely not coddled in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is one of the hardest fan bases to impress. Joel Embiid is constantly brought up as a trade possibility with many irrational Philadelphia 76ers fans. I don't get where Joel Embiid is coddled at all. If I'm losing something, please help me. And all I'm trying to discuss here, or establish here, is that Joel Embiid, I'm not saying he's better than Jokic, but what I am trying to say is he's not coddled or overhyped. Now look at this here. He points out numbers here, 11 minutes versus 31 minutes, and then he tries to argue for production, which is stupid.
Jokic and Embiid on the floor at the same time, it's not close. They're not the same player. They're not remotely close to the same level of player. Beyond padding his stats, Philadelphia keeps running coaches through him and teammates through him. And in the weaker Eastern Conference, he is yet to win a second-round playoff series. I'm not asking for much.
All right, now the second-round playoff series, that is true, and that is the biggest argument against him. I'm more upset about that than anyone else, okay? But running coaches and players through him, I mean, who are we talking about? James Harden, who himself has never gotten really far. Well, James Harden, he was able to get to the finals with KD and with Russell Westbrook back in the day. But outside of that, James Harden has a similar reputation, especially when he did get to the Western Conference Finals with Chris Paul, right? But I think we would agree that the version of James Harden that the Philadelphia 76ers had is not that James Harden from Houston, or even one from OKC, to be honest with you. Much less athletic, more of a distributor than a scorer, who could score here and there, but never really, he just wasn't James Harden, who was a top 5 player in MVP.
Just maybe one Eastern Conference Finals. Milwaukee was all beat up this year. I mean, the Knicks fell apart physically. So did Miami.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid was also beat up. Joel Embiid missed a major portion of the season with a the thing in his knee. I forgot what it's called. I'm not gonna let this video go on forever trying to remember what it's called. But he had a meniscus tear in his knee, which he kind of been battling most of his career, and it really acted up. He triggered it. And he went out there and gutted it out, man. Against the Knicks, he had put on a 50-point game against the Knicks, averaged over 30 points in the series. I mean, not satisfied because we didn't win, but at the same time, I'm not going to act like he didn't have a meniscus tear. He also had the thing with his eye, which is a serious thing that can blind someone. Now, listen, I'm far from an excuse maker, but what I do is I give people credit for gutting it out. Joel Embiid legitimately could have just not played. He went out there and he did that. And really, in a situation like that where, you are hampered by injury, you need teammates to kind of step up. And this is what I'm going to say, like before people come on and say, Jalen Brunson did this, Jalen Brunson did that. In that series against the Knicks, Jalen Brunson was horrible the first 2 games. However, he had teammates like Josh Hart stepped up and was making shots that he ordinarily doesn't make. You had DiVincenzo stepping up. You had Hardenstein and all different types of players. OG Anunoby stepping up for the Knicks to pick up the slack for when Jalen Brunson wasn't playing well. On the flip side, when Joel Embiid wasn't playing well, the Sixers really had no chance to win. And that was the difference. I think they had more hustlers. It was just a better situation, but it's hard for me to use that series to pick on Embiid.
Can you win a second playoff series in the significantly weaker conference? The other thing is he's never played 70 games.
I agree with that, but I don't agree with significantly weaker conference. I just don't agree with that narrative. Boston is the best team in the league. At least they were last year. Milwaukee, when healthy, is tough. Philly is definitely tough because you can talk all that stuff all you want. When we play those teams out west, we smash them oftentimes. Like Denver, including Denver, Minnesota. When the Sixers at full strength played the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, Joel Embiid scored 50 on them, okay? And Anthony Edwards, after the game, he said, shit, I don't know how the Sixers, he said, I don't know how they ever lose. Because Joel Embiid was cooking both Rudy Gobert and Cat. Well, he's been cooking Cat his whole career. He scored 50 on those guys. A lot of these people who say they hate Joel Embiid will go out there and put 40 on their favorite team. Blows my mind.
Remember, his career started, he was hurt for the first 2 years, never played 70 games. We bang on AD, but AD the last couple of years is there every night. So you can't depend on him physically. And then you watch this Olympics, and it is the best players in the world, and he is an atrocious fit. He doesn't fit at all. And remember, the FIBA rules don't call as many fouls, and he lives at the free throw line. So you take that element out of his game at the Olympics, he's not only not effective, he hurts the team. And FIBA rules are good for bigs. Jokic is dominant, AD's great, Bam's great. Embiid can't play here.
Yeah, well, so what is he trying to make the case that Embiid can't score without going to the foul line? Does Embiid get to the foul line? Yeah, but name me a great scorer that averages over 30 regularly who doesn't get to the foul line. And try to make the argument to me that it isn't smart to try to get to the foul line. Michael Jordan lived at the free throw line. James Harden in his years where he scored, 36 and all of that, lived at the free throw line. I can go on forever. Carmelo Anthony, all these types of guys. That's part of good offense is that you draw the fouls. Because when you're a great scorer like Joel Embiid, you deal with a lot of double teams and stuff like that. So, yeah, one of the ways to counter that is get to the free throw line. So that's like stupid. Anybody who knows basketball knows that's a dumb point. And that's not the reason you're struggling out there. The reason Joel Embiid is struggling out there in that game is because he's not a bad fit to play with the players. He's a bad fit to fit with LeBron James. So what I would suggest is that Joel Embiid actually goes to the second team and let Anthony Davis fit. Because this is what's really happening here. Joel Embiid was talking shit about LeBron James like early on. And it's probably because early on, two things happened. He could tell that he doesn't fit well with LeBron James. LeBron James wants his big to be out of the lane and to just be standing somewhere, in the corner waiting for LeBron James, to dribble and then pass the ball to him. LeBron wants to just draw the defense and pass the ball. That's the only way LeBron James either knows how to play or either wants to play. Anyone who's watched his game and understand basketball, they know this about LeBron James. All right, he doesn't make players better. What he does is he forces players to conform their game to the way he plays, and overall the team wins. So people mistaking that to mean that LeBron James makes players better. No, he can make your overall team better, but he does not make individual players better. No one has made a good argument for that for me. And he only thrives when he has a secondary scorer that can get his own, that can average over 25 points. This has been proven in Miami, and this has been proven in Cleveland with Kyrie Irving. All right, so back to this here. So LeBron James, instead of going to the microphone and responding to Joel Embiid over the microphone, which is like what classically men would do, right? LeBron James takes this passive-aggressive approach and uses his money. What I mean is, LeBron has to put on this air of great character, that he's like some saintly type of figure. That's this example for the children and all of these types of things. It's part of being the face of the league and part of what he wants to portray, what he wants to show you. Okay, so of course, he doesn't go up and respond to Joel Embiid. Now, great character would have been him just ignoring Joel Embiid, right? Or talking to Joel Embiid on the side and not saying anything. Or he could take the approach that Michael Jordan would have taken. He would have listened to what Joel Embiid said. He'd have been cool with it. And then he would wait till next season. And then he would drop 50 on the Sixers. And he would sweep the Sixers. That's what Michael Jordan would do. LeBron James, what he does though, he'd call Rich Paul, call Cowherd, call Nick Wright, call all these dudes and go ahead and kill this nigga Joel Embiid. And this is what you're seeing right here. This is LeBron James' response to Joel Embiid. He uses the fact that he has power and he has influence, and basically the message he's sending to Joel Embiid is like, nigga, you can't never fuck with me. That's basically what he's saying to him. Say, because I got all these dudes that will come out here and kill you. You could tell that this is what's going on because Colin Cowherd's argument here is horrible. It's just a personal type of attack. You're nowhere near Jokic's level. You're not even in the same stratosphere with him. And nobody believes that. I mean, that's ridiculous. All you have to do is look at the times when Jokic and Embiid played against each other. All right, the Sixers typically beat Denver, and Joel Embiid typically scores about 40-some-odd points against Jokic. Now, what I will add is Joel Embiid needs to play them in Denver. Right? He does kind of play at home and skips the games in Denver, which I don't like. But it doesn't change the fact that they're both top-tier players, skill-wise.
And again, when you watch Jokic and Embiid on the floor at the same time, they've given him James Harden. They've given him Jimmy Butler. They've given him Ben Simmons. Remember Ben Simmons?
All right. Now with James Harden and Jimmy Butler, right? Sixers didn't get past the second round, but they got to Game 7s. Jimmy Butler, we got to Game 7 with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard hits a damn miracle shot at the end of the game. I mean, it's a loss, but that team went on to win the championship. They went on to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Talking about the Toronto Raptors. I mean, you lost, but okay. And he didn't have a particularly good series. I'm not making excuses for him, but, it is what it is. You lost that one. Okay. With James Harden, I was most upset with both of them. That was the most upset I was ever with Embiid and Harden, that they didn't get past the Boston Celtics because they had the Boston Celtics down 3-2. At that moment, I was pretty much okay with almost getting rid of Joel Embiid, the first moment. Then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Let's just get rid of James Harden and retool it and try again. Because Joel Embiid is just that type of talent where you're just not going to trade him. You're going to keep trying until it just don't fucking work. And that's it. And that just is what it is. You know, a lot of people talk about Jokic. Jokic was going through a similar type of thing until he finally broke through. So it's just a patience game. But don't give me he's not on this dude's level, especially when you talk both ends of the floor.
He's made an all-star game, and he can't win a second-round playoff series in the East. Jokic has never had a single teammate that's been an all-star. He's already got a trophy.
Yeah, but you don't have to have a team that's an all-star. An all-star is just a selection. And Jamal Murray is all-star level talent. However, he's just playing in the West where they're just picking all types of legacy picks. You know, guys like Kawhi is going to make it. Guys like Anthony Edwards is going to make it. He's just not better than those guys, right? And then the year where James Harden was with Joel Embiid, James Harden was not an all-star. Matter of fact, the year when James Harden was on the 76ers, Embiid was the only all-star. Maxey wasn't an all-star and James Harden wasn't an all-star. So what does that mean? And in the year when Jimmy Butler was with the Sixers, Jimmy Butler was not on the all-star team. So what is your point? Now, Ben Simmons was on the all-star team, but he should not have been. Ben Simmons was a horrible player back then. All right?
And yesterday, the plus-minus for Jokic. Jokic almost single-handedly played even with Team USA when he was on the floor. 81-81. When Jokic was off the floor, Serbia was minus 26, and he was only off the floor for a few minutes. Embiid, meanwhile, was the only American player with a minus in the plus-minus category.
Jokic is on a team that's built around him. Joel Embiid is on a team that's built around LeBron James, and LeBron James typically has his big men look bad. It is what it is, because he's out here trying to write storylines that he's the best player in the world, trying to use the Olympics as a means to do that. It's pathetic.
He's getting heckled now by French fans because he chose to play for the United States. My only question now...
He shouldn't have played for France. He should have played for Cameroon. Fuck France. I can't stand that damn place anyway. Only thing y'all got is French fries. Fuck out of here. Napoleon Bonaparte ass motherfuckers. Fuck y'all.
You make trades during the Olympics? Can we get Wemby? I'll give you Embiid and future draft picks. Just give us Wemby. But we can officially now stop comparing Embiid and Jokic. Jokic is healthy. Jokic can be complimentary in the star. Jokic makes every teammate better. I was thinking about this morning.
Jokic isn't complimentary with the star. I thought you said that Jokic never played with a star. Just said a minute ago Jokic never played with a star. Now he's saying he can be complimentary with a star. I guarantee you, Jokic would have a harder time playing with LeBron James than Embiid does. Could you imagine Jokic and LeBron James playing on the same team? Now, that would be something to see. That would not happen. That would not happen. And it's because Jokic knows he's better than LeBron. Just like Embiid knows he's better than LeBron. That's why it wouldn't work.
The only three players in my life that I've ever watched basketball that make virtually every teammate they play with better. Magic, LeBron, and Jokic. Michael Jordan.
Bullshit. Bullshit. We're not going to compare Magic Johnson to LeBron when it comes to that. And I'll get into that in a separate video. That is bullshit.
Was great. He took away shots from a lot of good players. Barkley was great.
Oh, he said Michael Jordan took away shots from other players. I'll get into that another day, too.
Steph's great. They don't always elevate every single teammate. Magic, LeBron, and...
No, Steph Curry elevates way more players than LeBron James by virtue of his gravity. His shooting ability is automatically going to elevate the players around him. Look at how Kevin Durant was able to play with Steph Curry. Look at how Klay Thompson was able to get off with Steph Curry because of the gravity that he produces. If you understand basketball, you understand that. LeBron James doesn't produce the type of gravity that he produces. Now, for one reason, he's a good passer, and you got to respect that. But LeBron James doesn't provide the spacing, nor does LeBron James play well off the ball. I'll get into that some other time.
Jokic. But this is more because we knew Jokic was great. And we knew, J-Mac called it, that Serbia would be a tough out. They were for about 70% of the game until the very end. But in the end, this is about Embiid. Let's not put him in that class anymore. He can't stay healthy. He doesn't win enough. He clogs up the offense. And it was all on display yesterday.
All right, so basically this was LeBron James' response to Joel Embiid talking shit about him, saying he's old, not the same guy that he is, and LeBron James having the ego that he has. He can't take the high road and ignore it, nor can he wait till next year and just beat the Sixers. What'll probably happen is the Sixers will sweep the Lakers next year. Joel Embiid will fucking dominate the hell out of Anthony Davis, and LeBron James won't be able to deal with PG, Maxey, and the whole nine, because typically that's what we do, we whoop the Lakers' ass. All right, so that's when Embiid will get his revenge on LeBron next year. But LeBron James, up until this point, he letting Joel Embiid know, when it come to that media shit, you want to go there and talk shit to the media, you can't fuck with me. All right? Peace out.